Hey there, everybody, and happy Friday. Welcome to the virtual coffee break. I'm Franklin Taggart. This is my coffee. Grab yours and let's have a chat, shall we? This is one of those rare Fridays where I'm not releasing an interview episode. I've got a couple of them that are waiting to be edited, but they're not quite ready yet. So I'm just going to be doing another coffee break today instead of a full interview. We'll be back to the regular schedule next week. The thing that has been on my mind a lot lately is my own style of marketing and business. I identify. I shouldn't say that I identify. I've taken the damn tests, and it turns out that I'm an introvert. Doesn't mean I'm shy, mind you. It has more to do with how I recharge and how I stay focused, etc. If you're interested in all of the letters, I'm an INFP on the Myers-Briggs. And one of the things that's tricky for me is that I do have a high level of empathy and a high level of sensitivity. And the thing that I'm most sensitive to is sensory stimulation. So one of the things that's tricky in terms of being a business person with those kinds of personality traits is that very often the places where people meet each other are overwhelming to me. The places where people meet each other and, do networking and things like that sometimes just have too much going on, and I get sensory overload within a few minutes. And I've learned how to cope with that. I've found some really cool coping strategies. One of them is that I prepare well in advance for my networking opportunities. If you've taken either of my courses about fridge-worthy freebies or the elevator pitches that don't suck course, you'll know about me that I like to strategize when I'm going to be going to a public networking event. That strategy helps me to stay grounded in the midst of, a more stimulating environment that I'm used to or that's comfortable for me. But one of the things that I've realized is that over the past several years, the majority of people who come to me for help have similar traits. They have similar personalities. They're looking for ways that they can create positive, strong, successful business relationships, but they need to have a way that doesn't put them in situations where they get easily overwhelmed or overstimulated, or for some people, being in the same room with a bunch of people can be kind of emotionally confusing because they're empaths. They feel the other people's emotions. So a lot of the work that I've done in the last several years has been helping people to create their own, I'm not going to call it a blueprint, but their own system, their own way of navigating the things that they need to be doing to have a successful business or a successful artistic career or a successful organization, and yet remain true to those aspects of themselves that don't fit in other models, right? So there are a couple of things that I wanted to mention about how that works. The first one is, for me, my strategy is all relationship based. I like to think about a relationship and how it progresses. And so the strategies that I come up with for myself and the strategies that I help my clients with very often are much more about the relationship developing than having some kind of a sales and marketing technique. And for me, that has worked out really, really well, because the way that I look at it is that our customer relationships form in a similar way to every other human kind of relationship. There's a stage where we meet each other and find each other. There's a stage where we discover who the other person is and they discover who we are. It's like, learning about each other. And then there's a stage of a relationship where interests develop and curiosities develop, and we wonder about, what's possible. Opportunities start to show up. And then there's another stage of the relationship where we actually share some experiences with each other. And sometimes that stage leads to a place where we make a deepening commitment, right? And then there are other stages that follow that one. But usually in new businesses, those first few stages are the ones that I'm most interested in helping people with. And one of the things that we find is that we all have a natural way of being in relationship with other people that works for us. Unless we're really having a difficult time with our genetic makeup or our mental illness or something like that. For most of us, human relationships are a part and parcel of our day-to-day life. And we find ways to introduce ourselves to people, meet people, and form relationships. And we all have a natural way of doing that for ourselves. What I help people do is to discover what their way is. And then we use that as a way to build strong relationships for their business or for their artistic venture, right? So the thing that I'd say to people is that if you find yourself kind of repulsed or turned away by the kind of normal ways that you hear people talk about marketing, maybe it's time for you to look at the possibility that it's not wrong, it's just different, and you have your own way that needs to be cultivated. And that is what I help people do, is to cultivate their own way of building the relationships for their business or their ventures that help them succeed. My whole business has been built that way. And it's all about, I'm not horribly visible publicly, but I show up in my communities and I serve. And people know me for that. And that is where most of my referrals come from. So if you are interested in trying a different way or finding your own way, I can help you navigate those steps, right? So what I'd like to invite you to do is to just schedule a call with me. The first call is free. It's an hour long. And you can go to bit.ly/bestnextstepcall. And you can go right to my scheduler and schedule an appointment. But I will tell you that for a number of us, the normal ways that you hear about marketing, they don't work. That's not to say that you can't be successful finding your own way. And I have good news for you. I believe that every human being has their own natural way of being successful in the world. And I just want you to find that for yourself. And I'm here to help. So that's all that's going on for me today. Relationships are all that's on my mind. I'm really, I'm bubbling up with ideas. It turns out that all of the courses that I've created this year were about the first stage of the relationships, right? The elevator pitch course, the freebies course, the quiz course are all about that first stage of relationship building. What do we do to find new people? And what do we do to attract new people? I've got a whole bunch of ideas that are coming up on that I'm going to be sharing over the next several weeks. But again, if you're looking for a way to find your own success that doesn't take you outside of the kind of natural tendencies that you have, let's talk. Let's find out what's possible. I'm not going to make you do public speaking. I'm not going to tell you that you have to do any one thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to find the right things that fit for you and just create a way for you to be successful. That's it. So thanks again for being my guest here, for joining me for the coffee break. And I will be back again tomorrow with yet another one. It's my goal this year to do a new video, podcast, blog post every day. And so far, so good. Here we are, almost halfway through September, and I've stayed true to it. Strange, but true. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much again for your time and your attention. So long.